Меня, мне, конечно, хочется за второй пояс подраться. Для меня, никому не секрет, тот парень, который сейчас 93, если в стойке с ним не заигрываться, для меня очень удобный
Перейра.
соперник. Да, все говорят, он слишком мощный парень, но где-то мощи я нигде не уступал никому. Поэтому, я думаю, он тоже 84 выступал и перешел в 93. Хотелось бы 93 подраться, а так там Насрудина дадут, или Деридера дадут, или Эрнандеса. Мне особой такой разницы нет, чтобы самое главное заплатили хорошо.
Неужели вот действительно у тебя вот нет вот этого, знаешь, чувства, что вот это может быть опасно или что-то? Или как ты эту психологию выработал, что у тебя такое легкое отношение к
У
этому?
меня всегда была психология такая, когда ты считаешь себя лучшим, тебе не должно быть разницы, с кем драться.
I'm. If you ask me, I don't want to. He's a good guy. I know him. Like he knows me. We know each other. I'm. If you ask me, I don't want to fight this guy because he's like we know each other. Like a Muslim, and he's from Dagestan. You know how it's Dagestan, Chechen people like. So it will be like a lot of drama on the internet, all these shit things. So I don't like about it. But if UFC wants it, so I never gonna say no. If the guy wants it, I tell his manager as well, hey, brother, if Mamo Nassourdine wants, I will be open. If he says he can wait till I move up, I will be wait. I'm like not gonna say no. I want to fight this guy. So for me, it doesn't matter.
So we might actually have a major problem brewing in the world of MMA. Khamzat Chimaev is out here warning everybody that a fight with Nassourdine Imavov could spark real drama, real danger between Dagestan and Chechnya. And honestly, this sounds way bigger than a UFC matchup. All right? I mean, if he's talking about major drama, do we have to read between the lines what that means between Dagestan and Chechnya? And now fans are wondering if this is the next big MMA storyline. So in today's breakdown, we're actually going to get into Chimaev's warning, why he doesn't want this fight, his actual call out of the guy he really wants to fight, which is Potan Alex Pereira, and what this means for the future of the middleweight and light heavyweight division of the UFC. So let's break this down, guys, because it's actually getting pretty serious. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Duality 7X. I'm your host, Shiraz, and here we cover all the latest trending stories when it comes to the world of MMA, UFC, WWE, and boxing. And crazy news, guys. That's why we do what we do, because of storylines like this. Before we start, please smash a like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you guys never miss a beat. Let's dive into this, guys. So, Khamzat Chimaev, the middleweight champion of the world, the guy who basically became a global superstar, like literally overnight. And I mean, look, that in itself is something, because he stopped the world of MMA. He proved to all the naysayers, anyone who was betting against Chimaev that night against Duplessis, it was a long night, okay? And you guys seen the video earlier, all right? I mean, he admitted that he doesn't want to fight Nassourdine Imavov. He doesn't. And it's not that he's scared of him, right? And not necessarily because of the rankings, but he genuinely feels that this could actually spark actual cultural drama between the people of Dagestan and Chechnya. You know, I never would have even fathomed that could happen. But the more I think about it, yeah, you know what? This totally could happen. I mean, it's absolutely wild to even think that this is a possibility. I mean, if you're the UFC, you're looking at this. A, you're partially a little worried, but you got to be loving this, guys. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that creates excitement. It creates a lot of buzz. I mean, right now, everybody, I mean, I don't know how much more people are talking about the fight between Peter Yan and Merab Valishvili, or if they're talking about, upcoming fights, UFC 324, UFC 325, Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. I mean, like, right now there's a lot of focus and buzz on the world of boxing, right? There's a lot of drama coming out, with Terence Crawford being stripped of the WBC title, and Christian Mbili and Hamza Shiraz going to be running it for the vacant title. There's that whole drama going on. There's all these unbelievable fighters. You got Boots Ennis, you got Devin Haney. I mean, you've got, Conor Benn. You got, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And don't forget Jake Paul. Not this week, but the week after, we got Jake Paul and we got Anthony Joshua. And there's still people who are thinking that fight's not even going to happen. Yet, it's been confirmed that both of these guys are going to be getting paydays of upwards of about close to $100 million each. So that video that I did not too long ago where the title said $50 million baby, and there was a picture of Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua? And essentially that video was about the guaranteed amount that was going to be paid out to Anthony Joshua, which is of around $50 million dollars. It's going to be a lot more than that. All right. And then and that's going to happen on December 19th. And then on December 20th, you've got YouTuber, influencer, controversial figure, and Andrew Tate, who's also subsequently the new CEO of Misfits Boxing, which belonged to his predecessor, KSI. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how all that happened. And Andrew Tate is going to be fighting for the world title against Chase Dumore. And that's going to happen the following day on the 20th. And apparently Dylan Dennis was supposed to be on that card. He's not going to be able to fight now because of the altercation and injuries that he suffered from his altercation between Islam Makhachev's camp at UFC. I mean, that he did it to himself. I mean, that was just a stupid move. Like, what do you think was going to happen? Right? So anyways, there's a lot of this drama that's going on outside of the world of MMA. And then we've got Khamzat Chimaev. And anytime this guy's name is in the, in a storyline, in the headline, shall I say, it creates a lot of excitement. It creates a lot of buzz because people want to know what's up. They want to know what's going on with them. And yeah, the fight between him and Imavov would be absolutely whoa. But what would be better than that would be a fight between Khamzat and Alex Pereira. That is the moneymaker. Gosh, it's so wild, guys. I mean, so Khamzat went on record when he was talking about Nassourdine Imavov, and he was talking about how, he was talking about, and this is Khamzat talking about Nassourdine, and he was talking about how he's a good guy, that, they know each other, they're of the same faith, that, he's from Dagestan, and, there'll be a lot of drama, potentially cultural drama between the people of Dagestan and people of Chechnya. That's interesting, guys. I could totally see that happen now, though. I didn't even think for once that could be a thing. And so he genuinely is a little concerned because he probably knows that, people get riled up just like that in those parts of the world over matters like this. I mean, he didn't sound dramatic. I mean, he sounded like, I mean, you heard it. You've seen the videos. I mean, he sounded like someone who genuinely believes that this fight could potentially trigger something deeper. And I think he's afraid of that. So, Dagestan versus Chechnya matchup. Huh. That would certainly grab a lot of attention. Now that I'm thinking about it, Khamzat Chimaev versus Nassourdine Imavov, that's huge in itself. But Dagestan versus Chechnya, holy smokes, man. Now we're going into like political territory. Yeah. That definitely grabs attention. But the fans are going to love it. I mean, it's like built-in rivalry energy, guys, all around. I don't know how Dana moves past this. But obviously behind the scenes, there's definitely some real cultural history there. I'm sure. And fighters from those regions, they take that very seriously. And I'm sure there's a mutual admiration and respect for the people of Dagestan and Chechnya. And but is it the same as like? Is it the same as like the LA Clippers and the LA Lakers fans, or I mean, I don't know, guys. I mean, is it like that? Is it like NBA? Is it like San Francisco versus LA, or is it that kind of rivalry? Is it the Battle of Ohio kind of rivalry, like between Cincinnati and Cleveland? Between the Browns and the Bengals? Like, or is this deeper? And could this be potentially serious to the point where it could actually not only cause political strife, but people's lives could be on the line? That is not cool. Then you have to really take those things really serious. Okay, but look, fact of the matter is Nassourdine Imavov is the number one contender, okay, to Khamzat's title. Khamzat is the champion. Okay, this fight does make total sense. Like when you're talking about rankings and you're talking about UFC, this fight makes sense. But Chimaev is saying this fight is not worth the other problems that it could potentially bring. And I might agree. Look, the other thing with him is he's about to get surgery. Okay, that totally takes him out of, takes him out until mid-2026. And he already said he's not going to fight during Ramadan, so it's got to be after Ramadan. So that could potentially line himself up for an unbelievable, in octagon appearance, say June 14th at the White House Fight Night card. Right? So, I mean, the UFC, even if the UFC wanted to, they can't really rush into this fight. So this will definitely be something that I'm pretty sure Dana White will be tabling at one of their next executive meetings in the boardroom, and to really determine if this is really worth the political implications of entertaining. Okay, so aside from that, here's where things get really crazy, because Khamzat says he's only doing one more fight at middleweight. Think about this, guys. He is the king of the middleweight division, but he only wants to do one more fight, and then he wants to move up to light heavyweight. And guess who he's calling out? I kept talking about him, Alex Pereira. So the interesting thing, though, is Alex Pereira has gone on record of saying that he wants to move up from light heavyweight to heavyweight. That is something that he potentially wants to do. I don't know how realistic that is. I mean, I'm sure it can be done, but I mean, there's just, it's not as easy as just like, going to head office or sending an email and saying, hey, I want to move up divisions. There's a little bit, there's a few added layers of complexity definitely associated with those kind of decisions and discussions. That said, for Khamzat willing to move up to light heavyweight, maybe Alex sticks around for a little bit. does that before he wants to move on to heavyweight, potentially, right? Unless, and of course, he's happy as being in a light heavyweight division. I mean, that's totally cool as well, too. But now you've got a very stacked, I mean, the middleweight division's already stacked. The light heavyweight is already stacked. And now the heavyweight division is starting to get pretty spicy as well, too. And then look what happened recently with Cyril Gahn and Tom Aspinall with the double thumb eye poke, which ended up, causing the fight to stop. And there's a lot of drama happening around that. So, I mean, it's definitely not subtle, but there's a lot of things there's a lot of moving parts to all of this. Okay, so, but the fact that Khamzat called out Alex Pereira, he's done this before, okay, and he's doing it again, I mean, he's calling the man out, guys. I mean, tell Pereira, let's fight. Let's get it on, guys. What is he waiting for? I'm ready. These are the words that are coming out of Khamzat's mouth. And then he jokes about fighting Pereira and Pereira's manager, Glover Teixeira, at the same time. I did a video about this a little while ago. I mean, that's classic Khamzat, right? I mean, so meanwhile, Dana wants super fights, okay? Because these are the things that are going to help elevate the status of the UFC, and it's going to bring UFC into a different light. And with super fights, one of the greatest things about super fights is the fact that you get a new fan base, right? Or you get the opportunity to entertain fans from different genres of combat sports and coming over to the UFC, and also from other areas of MMA, boxing as well, right? So. Yeah, I mean, this could actually happen, guys. I could totally see that fight would totally, I would totally see that, wanting, can't even talk here, guys. I would totally want to see Khamzat and Alex fight over Khamzat and Imavov. I mean, yeah, that fight makes sense too, but this would be awesome. Needs, wants, I mean, it all comes down to that, right? So here's kind of how I see it, okay? Khamzat Chimaev versus Nassourdine Imavov, amazing matchup, hands down. All right, but if Khamzat is saying there's a lot more at stake than just the fight, there's political implications, cultural drama. It could cause a lot of tension, and without going into too much detail, I think we can read between the lines. I actually believe him, and some fights may look a little bit more simple on paper, but can be seriously complicated behind the scenes. Now, maybe you skip that one and you go straight to the big dog, which is Khamzat Chimaev versus Alex Pereira, light heavyweight title. And Khamzat is willing to move up the weight, whereas Alex doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to worry about cutting weight. He doesn't have to worry about adding or putting on more weight. He just has to sit pretty and do what he does. Meanwhile, Khamzat has to do all the work in bulking up a little bit, beefing up to get to light heavyweight. But he's willing to do it, right? So if he's talking about all this cultural tension, how bad it could get, and if he's talking about, look, he's willing to make the sacrifice of moving up to light heavyweight to make this fight happen, then I think you call a spade a spade. And I mean, I think that's the fight. I think that's the headline. Right? That's the headline that Dana would totally be happy with, and building an entire card around that headline, around that main event. Pereira doesn't seem super interested right now. But then again, we haven't really truly heard from him. I mean, he did say, yeah, let's do it. But I mean, I want to hear more of an official kind of a word, right? But he's busy. Everyone's busy right now. But trust me, if the UFC pushes it, Pereira is the kind of guy, he's going to show up. He doesn't bitch or complain about, oh, I don't want to fight this, or he doesn't make excuses. And Khamzat's not making excuses either. He genuinely is talking about, look, he comes from a part of the world where a lot of people are not privy to. Okay? He comes from a part of the world where they don't have the same kind of democracy or governance that we are privy to, that we have. They don't have, stores where like Walmart's or big stores like that. You just walk in and grab whatever you want, or if you're hungry, you feel like eating sushi one day, you can go to a restaurant and grab it, or you feel like it's a different part of the world, guys. It's different. It's not. It's a little bit more complex and a little bit more rougher around the edges, if you catch my drift. So yeah, when he's talking about these things, he's not chickening out. I mean, he'll do it. He'll do the fight, but he's kind of warning everybody that there's more at stake than just a fight between two guys. And I think we got to take him for his word. So yeah, I mean, if there's an opportunity for him and Pereira to dance, I'd like to see that one. And guess what? The bag associated with that fight is going to be super massive. So, I mean, it's a win-win situation all around. The fighter's going to be happy. They're going to make a ton of money. Dana's going to be happy. The UFC is going to make a lot of money. TKO, everyone, all the stakeholders and people within any kind of invested interest are going to be happy, right? So Chimaev would have to move to 205 to make that fight go. And that's what he'd have to do, right? So from 185 to 205, it's a pretty big accomplishment. He could do it though, right? But I mean, the division will open up instantly, and Imavov could technically become champ without even ever having to fight Khamzat if that actually happens. So, if Pereira actually says yes to Khamzat, that's one thing. But what does Dana say? What does Dana want? That's what matters, right? But we are talking about potentially one of the biggest fights in UFC history should all this go down. 2 monsters, 2 fan bases, 2 highlight reel machines, walking highlight reel machines. Okay? But if the Dagestan Chechnya tension becomes a trend, well, the UFC, it's yet to be determined if the UFC would want to avoid those kind of headlines. Maybe it's a little too risky, but yeah, there's still a possibility. I think that Chimaev could headline the UFC White House fight card. I think that would be absolutely insane, viral moment, probably break viewership records. Okay, can you imagine Khamzat at the White House? What? Chechnya at the White House? All right, here's my breakdown in one shot, okay? Here's another breakdown. Chimaev is playing chess, all right, not checkers, okay? He knows Imavov is a superb fighter, but he also knows the cultural heat isn't worth the risks, and I get it. Trust me, Chimaev is not backing down. He'll fight him. He'll fight him any day of the week, but he's just looking at the bigger picture, and I think we have to respect that. If he wants Pereira, if he wants Potan, I say let's make it happen. He has to do all the work. He has to do all the heavy lifting. He has to beef up, bulk up. Adding 20 pounds is not that easy, guys, but that's on him, okay? He wants big fights. He wants legacy. Well, not drama, then you got to show up. And honestly, I kind of agree with him, okay? Let me know what you guys think. Should Khamzat fight Imavov anyway? Or should the UFC protect that Dagestan Chechnya kind of conflict tension and stay kind of clear away from that and focus more on a potential bigger fight, bigger payday, bigger all-around viral moment between Khamzat and Alex Pereira? Tell me what you guys are thinking. I'll try to reply to as many comments as I can, guys. Please smash a like and subscribe and join us here on Duality 7X for more fight talk. Lots more coming down the line, guys. Be prepared. I look forward to catching you guys on the next one.